Erica, thank you so much for hopping on this episode of A Member Story. You have been working with us, you told me just before, but 3 to 4 years, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, my pleasure to be here.
Yeah. So how did you discover Greater Purpose?
Going back a while back, I kind of knew Tom before he worked with you, I believe, just fresh out of school, and he told me he was doing some programming for athletes. So I joined up with him, and a little bit by default just ended up working with you guys, and it's been awesome, right? Like, we went from using Google Sheets and spreadsheets to now you have this wonderful app that I get to
Yeah.
use, and it's been a great little journey. So yeah, I kind of just came on Tom's tails.
Yeah, and you've been with us as we've adapted and quickly adapted over the last couple
Mm-hmm.
months for sure. And that's a cool journey for you to see. And we appreciate you coming with us on that as well. And so you mentioned Tom working with athletes, and you are an athlete, right? You in the curling, in I said the curling, but in curling itself.
Yeah,
Tell us a
yeah,
little bit more about that.
yeah. I curl competitively on ladies and mixed teams here for the last 4 years. So that's also what brought me into training is I needed to be in condition to
Mhm.
handle that load, right? So that's where I came to Tom is I need to get balanced. And I also had some injuries going on, right? And a lot of things going on my right hand side of the body. Well, it just so happens that's my sweeping
Right.
movement, and it would get bad at times. So I'm like, I gotta do everything in my power to stay fit and able to keep moving, right? And because I'm part of a team, right? And if I'm down, everyone's down. So yeah, it's
Absolutely.
just about finding stability and yeah, and balance.
Yeah, and you mentioned something really important there, but I don't think many people take the time to understand this is when you're an athlete, you're doing movements over and over and over again. So you don't necessarily want to spend more time in the gym or working online with a coach doing the same thing. So if we were putting you in the same position as you would be in your sport, we would be causing maybe some more overuse injuries. So like you said, you came in. Did you find that you were unbalanced? I don't want to make it say like really unbalanced or anything, but I'm an athlete. I played for 19 years of hockey, and I was definitely had some imbalances.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. Not even just naturally you're gonna have imbalances, right? Everyone has their strengths and weaknesses, right? And then on top of that, you throw in my case, curling. Well, you're always in a one-legged lunge, in my case, left foot forward, and you're always this elbow up, tennis elbow, right? So you get very crooked like this. Your hips are
Yeah.
always out. My left leg is way more flexible than my right leg. And
Yep.
I can see that in movements, right? And by default, if I was doing my own training, I would probably be, oh, I need to work my legs and I need to work my arms and a little bit of core. But by having Tom, he can really dive in there to say, oh no, actually this isn't behaving the way it should, and we need to work over here. And it's not a fast process. It's been
Yeah.
years of bringing that back, and it's always gets thrown out of balance when I get into heavy season, and then I got to bring it back and rebuild and hopefully get it back to close to par again, and then
Yeah.
go again.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And like you said, you have to measure it. Like you can see it yourself. Um, but that's why we measure it with moon resolution. So it's a methodology we created comprised of a bunch of different methodologies, but making sure we measure so we can show you that we're improving you as
Mhm.
an athlete and helping you prevent injury in the long run too.
Mhm. Absolutely.
So, were there any specific goals you came into then just with Tom, but then as you merged into Greater Purpose? Any goals you had in mind?
I'd say the ultimate goal is just conditioning, right? And building strength. I do enjoy like bodybuilding and that kind of thing, and that just intrigues me to, well, what can I do with this muscle? So it's just been a bit of a journey of watching a body change and adapt. So yeah, ultimately the goal is curling, and I want to make it to the Scotties. What do I got to do to be better than
Yeah.
everyone else, right?
Yeah.
So be in shape, and but even from a lifestyle, right? Like, I'm a farmer. I work hard, and I can't I my body is how I make my living. So I got to be in shape. If I'm out, I'm out. There's no one else
Yeah.
to cover me, right? So I can't afford to be down.
Yeah. It's a process, right? And you touched on that earlier. It takes a long time, and it's not a one time fix. And I think that's what is often shown in the media, or people think that give me this 1 month, but it's a long term thing because, like you mentioned, you have more going on than just being an athlete. You still want to be functional outside of the gym or outside of your
Hmm.
field of play. So, what have you noticed outside of your fitness sessions or outside of curling improvements?
You know what? Even on just a mental side is confidence, right?
Yeah.
Knowing your body can withstand something, it's incredible. And no matter what you do in life, it is a lot of mental, it's mind over matter, right? And as that's as my body has improved, and you're not afraid to take that step to do
Yeah.
a couple random things. So whether it's curling or biking or something new, that's what I really appreciate. I started because of curling and some goals there, but now it's lifestyle. It's knowing that I can do something and not be debilitated, I don't think. So,
Right.
or
Right.
the chances are smaller, right? That I've minimized some risk in other areas.
Yeah, that's really important. We're more than just the athlete we are, right? We have to be functional and be able to contribute in our professions. So I know you worked online. So you actually, have you ever been into our facility?
Yeah, I come in a couple times a year
Okay.
for a tune up, and to yeah, to do those tests that you speak of. Those have been online too now lately, so I get my hubby to help me out with those to
Yeah.
show my flexibility. But yeah, no, I've come in a few times, and it always looks like a great environment. What I see, very welcoming, even though I'm not there on a daily basis. I
Right.
feel part of the family, right?
Yeah. Well, appreciate that. And I'm glad you found a home online too. And Tom's awesome. And I'm sure he's helped you a lot. So what would you tell someone thinking about joining Movement Resolution? So let's talk about Movement Resolution, the program that helped fix some imbalances and may prevent some injuries for you in your sport. What would you tell them if they're thinking of starting, but they're kind of not sure?
Not sure. Yeah. Again, it kind of comes into lifestyle, but when working with my physiotherapists and chiropractors, it's been so nice to hand them the phone and be like, "Here, tell my trainer
Yeah.
what I need to work on," because they're throwing out words I don't know what that is, right? So it really helped bridge the gap of recovery, right? So we can't go into our physiotherapy office every day and get those training done. There's things they're good at. Go home, you do the exercises, and maybe I'm not allowed to work on something at the time, but I'm allowed to do this. So
Mhm.
Movement Revolution gave me the opportunity to still be improving, even though in my case I wasn't my upper body, I had to be very careful. Well, okay, we're going to work on conditioning or your lower body or your back. We're going to do what we can, right? And but then as you start moving through and you don't need your physiotherapist maybe as often, now that's where Movement Revolution came in and took over in my recovery. And
Mhm.
still, like, I had an injury 2 years ago that Tom still is like, watching for and giving me exercises to make sure it's moving properly, and just almost doing the maintenance on it. I'm always going to have this area, and it's what's likely going to go on me, right? But with Tom, he knows things I don't know to keep it better. So I would really encourage anyone with injuries, don't give up on it, and go ask someone. And just by asking the question, you'll find someone who can help you,
Yeah.
and your quality of life will improve, like hands down, I think so.
Yeah. It's really about quality of life, right? We want to, our vision with the gym is to help people become holistically healthy and fit so they can have more fulfilling lives. It's not just about working out at the gym or getting bigger biceps or whatever it is. It's about enabling people to live to the fullest, whatever that means in their sport, in their life, in their occupation. And you mentioned bridging the gap. That's another mission we're on, right? Like to bridge the gap between chiropractors, physiotherapists, and the strength and conditioning coach. There needs to be a little bit more cohesion. And like you said, if you can hand off the phone from your chiropractor to your coach, and you know they're both working to help you, that creates
Hmm.
a lot of confidence in you, right? And you also don't feel like if you have a nagging injury, if something's happened, you can still do stuff, right? You don't want to rest for a long period of time because you're an athlete, and that's not going to go very well either, I'm sure.
No, it
No.
doesn't.
So you've had major success online. What would you attribute that to, working with an online coach?
Well, in my case, I'm half an hour out of town, so I had a it was a decision for me of time management, and it worked it works very well for me. I'm lucky to have my own little home gym downstairs that I've just built over the years, and it works. It's convenient. It saves me a lot of time. I'm more likely to do it because it's not going to be a 3-hour
Yep.
round trip to get into town. So it just totally works for me. It's flexibility. It's I see my workouts a couple days ahead with Tom. If I have any questions, I send him a text. What's this? What's that? I can plan my week. I can prepare, and it works very well for what I am juggling.
Love it. And yeah, we want to celebrate you because you put the time and you put the consistency in. And like you mentioned before, it is mindset. To consistently do things at home without a big environment around you, a big community, can get challenging at times. But when you have this goal, right, you have a strong why, to why you're doing it. And that's very important. So awesome job on that.
Yeah, and I think I'd also tell people, there it started out with this why, right? But it's
Yeah.
um eventually, in my case, it just you just do it. Like it's part of my week, right? It's to the
Yeah.
point now that I'm upset if I don't work out or get that workout in. So like give it the chance, and it'll become just like pouring your morning cup of coffee every day.
Yeah.
It's just what you do, and it's what your body looks forward to, and you'll just be amazed, I think, if you give it the time, that it just becomes normal.
100%. Our day is filled with habits, right? You can
Yeah,
either have good habits or you can have poor habits, but you have to fill your time with something. So might as well make it a good habit and
exactly.
build on
Yeah.
that.
So fill your cup up and enjoy.
Yeah. Coffee and exercise. Those are
Oh,
two of our
that's
favorite
what we
things.
need in life. Yeah, we're good.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to add, Erica, before we hop off here? I really appreciate your time.
Oh, I think I would just thank you guys as well, because you know what, you've provided me with something. It's not that a couple years ago, starting on that journey, not everyone does online programming well, and
Hmm.
you guys fit the bill really well for me. You give me diversity, and flexibility. So I'm thankful that I found you, and you aren't that far away when I do need you to come in. And yeah, it's been awesome. I've tried other programs, and and they've not quite worked. So it's pretty cool to be able to say, here are my goals, this is what I do, this is the equipment I have, and to have a program built for me, and then also um, have those measurements along the way to see those improvements. So great job to you guys. I appreciate it. I'm thankful for you.
Well, thank you so much, Erica. Appreciate that. And the hope is that you've just motivated one person, at least one person, to start, because it's just about starting, right? To
That'd be
start
awesome.
that habit.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
Well, thanks again. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah. Thank you, Matt.